Quest connected to New Social World essentially. You're in remoteness of Bands community where the Bands battle groups with certificate, I'm going to say certificate, well it has certificate now on Quest connected to New Social World essentially. One of the best programs from remoteness of this part of the region. You're in the heart of the territory on WNT borders. Praise the Lord God, you with Quest connected to New Social World, integrated with God and angels as well. Here I've got a really iconic skirt moment. See that iconic skirt moment? And he has got ideas for no BB and Dems. And there was a photographer on zone already. See what I was gonna say about that. See that's how elastic. See how you vaginal when you give birth. You know when the baby come out, that's elastic. So your stomach gotta produce an elastic, you know? Gotta become your stomach and your vaginal is elastic when the baby come out. What I was gonna say is on Quest connected to New Social World intentionally, I was gonna say that Kepler Deva. You heard about a person called Kepler Deva. Kepler Deva. He's Kepler anyway. Kepler, cricket player from Africa, South Africa. Well, either one, South Africa, Africa. It's still an African person, African white person. He came to Australia and he played a fantastic game here for Australia. He was on the Australian cricket team. Whether he was on the board, we don't know. On the cricket board, we don't know. But he played a good cricket team here. See, that Kepler get all the questions on my show. See, because you know what? You don't travel bats. See, Africans will tell you we don't travel bats because bats are cheap. You know, they're whack. And there was a bat, not on a bait, but the bats came in and married a Mary in Canaro. I don't know where it was, but went to Queensland. He now owns it, operates Woolworth, owns it. And you know what? What happened to Kepler? He was in Australia, and he applied for. No, he didn't apply for the citizenship, but he applied for a visa to stay in Australia, or citizenship, or either one. But he to stay in Australia. What happened? He was reviewed. He was reviewed about. It was only reviewed. He was only reviewed and said, "We don't want." No, it wasn't reviewed. We just said, "We don't want you in Australia, Kepler." That's what happened. And you know, who decides? I decide God. That's what I decide. And Paul don't get a quest on my show. See? And see, you know what? See? God journeys too with pets. See? And you know what? I found that Paul is a lucky number. Only number, but he said a woman one. See? He said a woman one number. See? And see that quest connected to his social organization. That's Gideon. That's Gideon's surprise. See? Gideon said, I won the battle in Israel. Gideon will say, I'm the first one to win the battle in Israel. Just one man, Gideon himself. Just one man, see? Kepler, you know what, Mary Bat Davis, that's who she is. That's who she is. You know, Mary Davis, you know, Mary Davis Bates' definition is, see, when Mary Magdalene met Jesus, she was considered a harlot. Yes, if you read the words, it's true. Like again, quote it again. See, when Mary Magdalene met Jesus, she was considered a harlot. Yes, if you read the word of God, it's true. She's harlot. That's how it is. And harlot's a title. Title like Duke of Sussex, Duchess of Sussex, just like that. Harlot of Israel. That's it. See that? Africa's skint on that. See that? Africa's skint on that. Did I say Africa, Bart? Did I say Africa? Did I say Africa? Because Africans shouldn't be there, really. It's supposed to be South Africa. See? Africa's skint on that. But did I say Africa? No, I said African. But which African? South Africa skint on that, see? And see this woman here? I can plainly call him a harlot, bludgeon. You know, I can plainly call him a harlot. And, you know, because sweet Switch is heaven. Switch is heaven everywhere. Harlot can't switch. Switch. Oh, but I got a mobile now. I can. Oh crap. I can. Yeah. Child of light. That's child of light. This child of light. Flicking, see, flicking for man. Flicking, the coffin and all that. Cannot let her enter coffin. Not let her enter. See, I'm a prisoner. That's what I am. A prisoner. I serve with Peter Sharon. I serve with Noel and all that. I serve with them. And I've got really good quest on a build on Voyager. Because the Indians say you have to build a Voyager. You have to build a Voyager. Because Voyager. And I said, yesterday, I just realized, look at this. This is nice for Sonisha. This is nice for Sonisha. Look at that. That's just a copy, really nice. See how it's laid out there? Really, really nice. I didn't even touch it. It's just really nice captured. And that's Sonisha. That's how Sonisha like to be. He like to be no disturbance himself and all that. So Sonisha. But do we study Sonisha? Of course. And here, see? I'll probably put them and say, what do I want, Dempsey kids? See, Dempsey probably had a child. He had a child, but he hid it. He was a 17-year-old. He probably had a sex because he said it. He was drinking from the age of 6-7-year-old, 13, like a 5-year-old. He was drinking grog. Dell Dempsey, and he said he met a. He told me after a party when I went student break up at Dolphin Club in Perth, and he told me after the pub, he said, Marion, I was drunk, very young, like he was 17 at the time, in 1990 or 1991. He was 17, but he told me, Marion, I'm really right. I've been drinking since the age of 3-year-old, 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and I looked at it and I tasted a lip. I kissed him and I tasted a lip, and it's toxic. It's sliced up in a million pieces, you know what I mean. See that? That's his quest. Dal Dempsey, see? You can't beat men on quests. You can't beat them, see? Tower, because man, he showed me he can't. That before he left and said goodbye to me when I was in Canada. I didn't say goodbye to him when I came back for holiday, but I went back to do my second semester, and smart woman. What happened to Dal Dempsey? I said, what happened to Dal Dempsey? No, someone tall like Dal Dempsey came, really tall. It's Dal Dempsey, alright, like glass, big one, tall one, and I said, little girl, mum one, little one, see, little 6-year-old, 7-year-old mummy, and Dal Dempsey was really tall, he was a mess. He was a mess, He wanted me, but he journeys for standard because on standard, if Dal Dempsey sit on standard and sit on standard beer, standard penis, see, you gotta have to have a stand and time for him, because look at that. That's fathomful Aussies. They just journey. You know what Aussies say? They say they just journey. That's what they'll say. They just journey. Ships, whatever. What I was going to say is that Kepler, when he came into Australia, he was a champion football player now. But a cricket player, he was a cricket player, and he owned the crowd, he owned it, and he was a South African, and I think that's the whole reason why they booted him. But there was a bat on board, bat, the cheap bat, they fly around in the tree, but he was a bat on board, and when hitting the bat, the tennis ball and the bat and the ball and hitting with the cricket bat, hitting the ball, and it was already a cheat there on the bat. See, it was already cheat because some harlot, I can say harlot because you know what? They harlot. They don't have vaginal. You know what I mean? They come along, they have babies, but ain't capless. Michael Bates ain't capless. Oh, it's Kapla Dapla. There's two Kapla Dapla there. There's two, an Indian and an African. That's Kapla Dapla. But you know what? Mary Bat's buju was plastic, like that. Chinese are like that, like skin. See, they skin the beginner like skin. You know that AI robot for China. It's a miracle design.